Male redditors, what hints have girls given you that flew over your head and you now deeply regret? What's your worst "oh, she wasn't actually inviting me over for coffee at 2 AM" moment? At the time her abusive ex-BF was banging her roommates. And she could hear them. So I offered to let her sleep at my place whenever he came over. I lent her my bed and she told me that there was a lot of room and I didn't have to sleep on the chair. I was kind of tired then. So I just slept on the bed beside her. She took off her clothes. I thought that was how she normally slept. So I didn't say anything. Turned my back towards her and went to sleep. She wasn't there in the morning. In your defense, it wasn't exactly the most romantic of setups. No. I've done this and slept on the floor. Just now it hit me. FCK made it the whole way through the thread being like, haha, oblivious bastards FCK. Open bracket. Edit. Great. 2 years on Reddit and my top comment is about me not getting laid. Incoming text. Approximately 1 AM. From Vanessa. I'm home alone. Come play video games? Full stop. I cab down to her place and proceed to destroy her at Mario Kart. She's not even trying to win. I thought she wanted to play video games. Eventually. She even admitted it. Richard Yeltsin. I don't really want to play video games anymore. Oh okay. She must be tired. Time to go home. I cab down to her place and proceed to destroy her. At Mario Kart. You've got to be kidding me. As a woman reading this thread, I'm beginning to throw away my confidence in any smooth moves I may have had used. I'm feeling like the best thing to say is gonna be "you're hot. Let's bang." Repeat it and add an "I'm not joking" just for good measure. Edit. If I'm going to end up with 1000 plus comment karma, I had to make sure to capitalize that I. Standards, you know. Trust us. It's usually far better to tell a man that, rather than thinking he'll get a clue. Most of the time. We're idiots. Had a tremendous mustache last month. Girl in my EDU class tells me as we're leaving, "You know, I've never kissed a guy with a mustache before." I say, "You know, neither have I." And then I walked away. What the hell, man? Edit. Walked out of a club with a girl I'd been dancing with all night. She kissed me on the cheek and mentions that we should split a cab back to hers and save some money. Nah. It's too cold and it's like a 20-minute walk from yours to mine. I'll see you tomorrow though. I woke up the next morning with no hangover and the majority of the map on Civ 4. I was in high school. She was a friend of mine. At her suggestion, we watched Debbie Does Dallas together, just the two of us. She snuggled up against me on the couch. And I thought about how cool it was that we were mature enough to watch PRN and not have it be weird or anything. I went home shortly after the movie ended. For the rest of high school she was convinced I was gay because there was no way that I wouldn't have made a move on her otherwise. After another friend of mine explained what had happened to me, I thought I was gay. Till there will only be one generation of Redditors. During my university years, one of my classmates asked me if I wanted to study with her. I said sure and she told me to come by her place around 5 so we can study. Have some dinner and study some more. Instead, I told her that it would be much easier to study in the library because we will have access to all the resources we may need. You don't need a goddamn single book in the library when you're studying anatomy, you numpty. A few years ago I was working at my elementary school's annual spring fling. That day I volunteered to be the school mascot, a big ass bear costume, for the morning shift. It was a boring job of feeling like a pedophile the whole time because little kids would hug you constantly and be all over you. They were at just the perfect height for every kid's face to be just in your crotch. It was nearing noon and my shift was soon to be over when a girl my age, 17, stole the bear head right from my own head and ran away with it. I wasn't gonna pay for a damn bear head if she didn't return it. So I ran after her and followed her into an empty classroom with the lights off and the shutters shut tightly. She said something like, "Oh looky here. Emma Papa Bear. I'm holding your head. I'm a bad girl. I was pissed she took it and wasn't thinking, so I, being oblivious to her remark, took the head, yelled the children need Emmy and stormed out. TL. DR chick took my head off. Huh? It's too cold for you to sleep on the couch. Come cuddle in my drunk mind. Cheap-ass girl. When I was 15, a girl decided to grab my iPod and stuff it into her bra. And then told me I wasn't getting it back until I fished it out myself. As a socially awkward and stupid 15-year-old, I was mentally freaking out and told her she could borrow it instead. Man, how I'm kicking myself now. My freshman year of high school, a really cute girl snatched up one of my Jolly Ranchers and stuffed it in her mouth. And said I could take it back if I used my tongue. I laughed and asked the teacher for a new one, and her best friend slapped me on the back of the head. Looking at this thread makes me think life needs checkpoints that you can reload later. Huh? Do you mind if I sleep without my underwear? Yes, she was already sleeping in the bed with me. Haha. No. Went to sleep. In hindsight, I was a complete and utter f-king moron. When I told my friends about that, they almost hit me. They were mad for all men worldwide. Not only did I blow it completely, she was smoking hot too. I just couldn't get it in my head that such a babe wanted me. Oh. College. Edit. I was cracking up at work reading all of the comments yesterday. Reddit is a funny community. For the record, that was an eye-opening experience. And I vowed to never let it happen again. Live and learn. She was pushing my cock into her vagina. But I thought it was just a nervous tick she had. So thought nothing of it. Then she asked if I wanted to thrust. But I said nah. My pelvis is okay right here. Thanks. Not me personally. But my housemate accidentally turned down a very attractive Russian girl on his birthday. Despite being given 3 chances. After a night out, we left the two of them in the house alone while we went for pizza. Both were drunk. Him more than her. She asked, how long do you think we have? He responds, I don't know. She said, I think we've got a while. He says, I hope not. I'm hungry. We get back. Eat pizza together. And she asks to see his room. He says no, as he wants to stay and play cards. Then when she goes to leave, I suggest he walks her home. She agrees, but then he says it's not that far. She doesn't need walking. I try to convince him otherwise, but he's not having any of it. When she's finally left, we're both sat in the kitchen talking, and suddenly he realizes what he just did. He just stands up, shouts for FCK's sake, and storms out of the room. He spent the next 2 weeks sulking about it. What a birthday. That was painful to read. Poor guy. Back in college, there was this girl who started as a friend, but over time, wanted to be more than a friend. Sadly, I was far too naive and insecure to pick up on her multiple hints. Here's one of the worst. We had been hanging out at a party at a friend's house for a couple of hours. The Leonid meteor shower was supposed to be pretty active that night. So she suggested that we drive out in the country and watch it together. I said okay. Sounds cool. So we packed up and headed out. As we were driving, she said, you know, some of your friends are starting to ask if I'm your girlfriend. Me. Oh really? That's interesting. We drove out to a dirt road in the middle of the nowhere. Spread a sleeping bag out in the back of my truck. Laid back. And watched the meteor shower. Edit. To the multiple people who have asked. I do not have Asperger's syndrome. I was just painfully insecure. In the she can't possibly be interested in me that way sort of way. My game has gotten moderately better since then. Showed up at a girl's place. She knew I was coming over. Didn't know when, and she answered the door in bra and panties. I got what I needed to get and left. I'm an idiot. Edit. No. Got what I needed to get did not mean sex. I should have noticed that. But I didn't. Equals. Edit. She is also a Redditor. While I was in college, A girl that lived in a dorm 2 buildings down calls me up after just leaving my place and meeting me for the first time and says, "So do you want to come see my cat?" What? You're not allowed to have pets. So essentially you rejected both of her pussies. I was once blatantly hit on by a gay guy for like 2 hours, and when my friend and I left she looked at me and said, "You know he was trying to get with you, right?" I had no idea. I thought he was just being friendly. Been there. Some gay guys have so much tact you never see it coming. She wanted to drink beers and hang out during a blackout. I was in an editing booth with a girl, who is now a runway model, in college. She suddenly bursts out with, "I wish I was a SLT. Because it would be so much fun to FCK in this booth." I just said, "Good thing you are not a SLT then." And kept working. You don't have to be a SLT to FCK in this booth. Boom. Would have worked like a charm. Camping trip for a geology class. I'm cold. Can I get in your sleeping bag? It'll be warmer if you take off your damp clothes. Okay. I took off my clothes. Can I get in your sleeping bag now? No. I mean it will be warmer in your sleeping bag. Oh. Screw it. How is this even possible? Freshman year I was chatting up 2 girls at a party. During the course of this rather long conversation, one of them started playing a little bit with the others, quite large, chest. Not massaging or anything. Mind you. Just making them bounce and such. I'd met both of these girls before the party and one of them lived in my dorm. So it never occurred to me that they'd actually be flirting with me. Towards the end of the evening, one of them looks at me and says, "Hey. Great day for Guinness." Her roommate, gesturing towards the other girl, is gone for the weekend and I'm spending the night in her room. "You should come too." I politely excused myself, citing the fact that I had to wake up early the next morning. It took me longer than I care to admit to realize what I may have passed up on. Much regret has been had since. I am a woman and this made me sad. Dude. Some people here are regretful about missing out on an opportunity with a girl. You missed an opportunity for a 3-way. The good kind. Went on a date with the most beautiful girl I ever went on a date with. It went really well. I had delved into her soul. Really gotten her to open up. And made her laugh a lot. I got her to talking about paintings she makes but has never showed anyone. And made her promise to show me some time. I walked her home. And then she was standing on the first step of her stairs. Facing me at eye level. Smiling. Somehow. Suddenly. I felt self-conscious. I got nervous. So instead of kissing her like she clearly wanted me to, I gave her a hug. Thanked her for the pleasant evening. And walked away. I felt amazing. The date was over and I hadn't FK'd it up. A few minutes later, I got a text from her. "I should have invited you up to show you my paintings." And for the love of King God, I don't know how I managed to send this as my reply. Haha. Next time. Asterisk. There was no next time. Women of Reddit. I hope you read this thread and realize that guy actually didn't reject you. Moreover, realize that most of us are idiots and if you want something you are more than welcome to be exceedingly clear about it. I sometimes don't pick up on my fiance's hints. I admit though, they are sometimes ridiculously cryptic. How am I supposed to know that saying I'm tired means I'm extremely horny? Please follow me. Once I spent an entire night with a girl that I really liked from school. It was 24th of July. St. John's Day. Which is celebrated with a big party in the streets of Barcelona. Towards the end of the night we were talking and she said she wasn't the kind of girl that made the first move. Even when she really wanted to. Due to her shyness. I answer? Yeah, I'm also like that. It still eats me up a bit. I still really like her. But we went on separate ways. This is what happens when a stoppable force meets a movable object. I was in a club being drunk and happy. When a cute girl comes up to me and hands me a note. She stands there while I try to read it. But can't. Because of my drunken state, I decide to pretend like I read it and look at her, smile and give her the thumbs up. She looks at me like, "What's your problem?" and walks away. The next morning I find the note and it reads, "You look cute. Take me home." I hated myself for being so stupid. But when I was in the club, I just thought it was weird that some chick gave me a piece of paper. Didn't even cross my mind that it was a proposition. BTW. Alright. Stupid Collider. Let's see if you can beat this one. I'm out with 3 people. My best friend, his girlfriend, and a friend of hers. I'm completely oblivious that I got set up for a double date. The girl is beautiful. We get along. We end up at some party. It's fun for a while. The girl is chatting me up. Then we run out of things to say. Then we realize the couple left. I start to get uncomfortable. I don't know anyone at this party. After an awkward silence where we're both looking around the room, she turns to me, looks me in the eye and says the magic words, "Let's get out of here." I happily oblige. We walk down the stairs and into the street. Alright. See you later, I say to her, and proceed to get out of there. Once upon a time I met a man at a Reddit meetup. I messaged him on Facebook and told him about a new restaurant by where I worked. Never heard of it, they have really good and cheap Bloody Marys. I don't like mixed drinks so. Okay. Till. Then I read a post on Reddit that was so amazingly similar to this post and I realized he had no idea I was trying to ask him out for drinks. So I contacted him again on Facebook. Clarified that I was no longer in a relationship. And we set up 2 dates. Got married in June. I used to hang out with this really cool chick. She was into PC games and such. And we had similar music tastes. Our personalities are scarily similar, too. We even share the same birthday. Anyways, I digress. She was over at my house once. And we were the only ones there. Both in my bedroom. She was wearing a short skirt. I was showing her something on the computer, I think. And she laid down on my bed. A skirt. And implied that I should come sit. Didn't even realize she had done it until a couple of years ago when we were having a conversation and she told me that she used to have a major thing for me and cited that situation. I was rather oblivious back then. Maybe she was coming onto you again. Did you miss that chance too? Laying on a bed with a girl I liked and her friend. Her friend rubs my back and asks if there is anything I wanted to do. I started playing Sonic 3. I should have played Sonic 1. I was hanging out with this girl who was a couple of years older than me and we were discussing relationships, etc. Out of the blue this girl says, "Karma Hunter, you are very mature for your age and you ought to look for women who are a couple of years older than you," and sort of made eyes at me. Needless to say, hint was never taken and I still regret letting that go by. Turns out you weren't as mature as she thought, lol. I actually picked up on a hint just the other day and was glad it didn't fly over my head. This girl told me to come over to look at her Christmas tree after she had just shown me a picture of it. Luckily I picked up on that hint. I could have very easily thought FCK that. It's just a Christmas tree. I've seen plenty. I hope you decked her halls. It hurts reading these. Sophomore year of college. Walking nice. Pretty girl home from class. She says, "Come in. I'll show you around." I do. No one else home. Downstairs nice and boring. Now standing in the entrance hall again. She says, "So, do you want to come upstairs and see my room?" What do I say? Do you want to know? Why would I want to see your room? I gotta go home. See ya later. When I was in high school this girl smelled my hoodie. I had taken it off and left it on the table and said, it smells like SX. To which I replied, "That's weird. I just washed it this morning." In my defense I was kinda occupied with having a crush on her friend. Pretty sure she was high. Female here. We get it. Sometimes you guys just don't get IT. Recently had to text my guy, me in the bedroom. He in the living room of my 1-bedroom apartment. I'm naked. In bed. You should be here. Heard his phone go off. Heard the phone hit the floor and he walked in naked. That's communication. Guys. Would you like to come over for some coffee? Looks at watch. 2 AM. Why, that is preposterous. How will I ever get to sleep? Coffee means sex. Jerry. I can honestly say that. At 31. I'm either still oblivious or women just aren't into me at all. There's this one girl who wants to sleep with me but not have sex. And yes. That's exactly what she wants. I've tried it, but has more issues than the New York Times. Don't stick your Willy Wonka in crazy, bro. Better this way.